Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to NFT Live on the Web3 Network. We're taking you around the industry in about an hour's time. Going to get caught up on all the weekend's action. Sitting here with some awesome individuals, builders, creators, friends in the industry here. We got Mito here from Valeria Games. He is the CEO. We're going to touch on everything Valeria today in about a 30 to 45 minute segment. So really excited to be breaking that project down. Biggie Poppins, Gifted as well, my co-founder here on the Web3 Network. Guys, let's go around the quad box here and introduce ourselves, say what's up. Mito, let's start with you.
Yeah, man. So CEO for Valeria Games, been building in this space for almost 2 years now, and just excited to be here, man. Excited to be a part of the show.
Look, this is how you know it's good. When I said, Mito, you can jump in on these, kind of bigger discussions, what's happening in the space. He was like, dude, I'm just building Valeria. That's how you know this stuff.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on in the Twitter space right now, in crypto Twitter, but I try to stay updated. But we're busy. Yeah, we're very busy.
All right, Biggie Poppins, a man who does know what's going on in a lot of things here in the industry. What's up, brother?
Dude, what a weekend, man. Combo of great releases with incredible security breaches, and it's just nuts. But I'm here, all for it. Happy to be with you, fam.
All right, Goku, what's up?
Yeah, it's a tough day when you come in on Mondays, especially if you've been up watching the Cowboys get their asses handed to them, and then you got to come in and try and cover like all the different things that have been happening, and there's a mix of great things and then really bad things, and a lot of times it's the really bad headlines that everybody's wanting to talk about, and so that was tough on GM Web3. Like, everybody came in wanting to talk about the hacks, and so we had to kind of wake up and start digging into everything that was going on with that. But yeah, man, a lot to catch up on, and I'm just blessed and happy to be here with y'all and excited to talk to Mito about everything with Valeria.
All right, Dimitri, Cats Fanatic, DP, Peter Koo, Nox Darkness, Squash Man, getting in here early with the OVOTs. We're excited to have you guys. Excited for another week, man. It's always a lot to, like Gifted is saying, take in what happened over the weekend, especially when you had as much FUD and just unnecessary things that essentially happened that we'll cover here in just a moment. But yeah, getting caught up on the week with y'all. Excited to be on another episode of NFT Live here. Gift, let's hit him with a disclaimer and get off and running, man.
Ah, yes, the handy dandy, the one law that you should follow in Web3, which is, by and large, still clearly a lawless territory, as we found out through these recent exploits and hacks. But there is one law that we ask you to follow here, and that is thou shalt not speckle, which is shorthand, of course, for this is not financial advice. Regardless of what anybody might tell you and how smart we look, nothing that we talk about on this show or any of the shows on the Web3 Network should ever be misconstrued as financial advice. We are just talking about cool shit that we find on the internet. It's all public domain information, and you should always do your own research because this is just our opinions, and we're not responsible for your bags. So, NFA, DYOR, thou shalt not speckle. Thank you.
All right, we've been talking a lot about Reach Protocol here on the network, and their token just went live. So they had that launch scheduled for today. We're going to get into that in just a moment. For those of you that are Valerians, for those of you that are fans of Valeria, I just want to personally apologize for misspelling the thumbnail. This is how I'm going to do it, though, because I bought into Valeria. Cats Fanatic was hopping onto these shows saying, dude, what the hell are you doing? I've been talking about Valeria for a month, it seems, on the channel. So I finally got in. I told my friends, and they all jumped in. It was a real nice little bandwagon that we joined in at the right time on. And I'm just going to apologize to you guys. And the way I'm going to do it is I got a $50 Valeria giveaway that we're going to do on the channel. I haven't determined how we're going to do it. It'll be like in the middle or back end of the show, and somebody will win $50 of Val token. So yeah, just getting that out to y'all. But here is the piece that I wanted to cover right off the bat. Some good news before we hop in to what pretty much happened over the weekend. The Reach token is live. You can see the contract address there, and that will take you to the handy dandy chart here. So opening up at 10 mil. GIF, I did see a 2 cent price here on the pre-sale? Do you remember what the token price at pre-sale was? That was okay.
I didn't get in on it. I missed it. I slept on it. It was too quick. They literally kept it open for like less than 24 hours. It felt like it was so fast.
Oh wow, man.
Yeah.
Because I had access to this because I'm an OG, and I didn't get into it.
Yeah, we're waiting to see if there's going to be some type of token airdrop, essentially for OG holders. But you can see this is a minute chart, so that's how you know we're in DGen land. But it opened up at a $10 million market cap. Give a brief explainer on what the protocol actually does and how it kind of related to Portal Coin, which everybody saw over the weekend.
Well, it's not technically related to Portal Coin in any way other than, it found some product market fit and some synergy there with everybody starting to farm all these different things, and specifically on X with Portal Coin, right? So Reach is a protocol that Biggie brought to us, by the way. Like Biggie, honestly, you should probably be talking about it. I've just been really engaged with it ever since he brought it in. He was able to connect us with Lana Moore, one of the founders who actually came on our shows or very early on. So again, this is one of those things that we were really early on. If you've been here on the network hanging out with us and paying attention, Biggie brought this to us very early. I hopped into it, and they're trying their best to incentivize quality interaction on social media, specifically on X. So they're integrated into X, and they reward you for quality engagement with people on their posts, right? So you can use the protocol to create missions, which are basically, okay, I have a post that I want more eyes on. I want more discoverability. I want more people to know about this thing. And so you create a mission using the protocol, and then everybody can go and interact with that. It becomes a mission within their platform, and people who interact with that and give it quality engagement get rewarded. They're incentivized through the token, and the token's also used to create those missions. So what I love about it is that it is gamifying X and quality engagement on X. It's trying its best, and this is really the secret sauce. Is if they can sort of hedge against or get away from the body low quality behavior and incentivize and actually create more high quality engagement and better behavior, it really does help with discoverability for projects, for founders, and that's why I think it's actually is interesting. And also, again, we did see some product market fit already when Portal Coin and some of these other farming opportunities popped up. Everybody started to see the opportunity to use Reach to amplify their farming efforts there, which that's not the best use case, but it is a use case that it absolutely works for. So anyway, anything that's doing a good job encouraging quality engagement and rewarding people for taking actions on X, I'm bullish on.
Okay, we're going to move quickly into some other things that are happening around the space. And then because we only have Mito here for 30 minutes, I want to jump into Valeria. But essentially what we're seeing here, guys, is a general kind of, I wouldn't call it crabbing out. It's definitely like a less of a sentiment than we saw when Gordon was buying these NFTs. We've been talking about this for the last week. So definitely less volume on the ETH side for the NFTs right now. You can see prices across that are getting hit. You see that in the cryptocurrency market as well. Like there's not anything that's really catching much attention. If we go by the 24 hours, it looks like stacks. So the Bitcoin ecosystem is doing extremely well. And Solana is definitely one that we're going to get to in the back half of the episode with BoDoggos and stuff that's happening here immediately. I guess let's briefly hit on what happened here. Man, I want to have enough time for Valeria, so let's try to make this quick, fellas. Arbitrum.
Don't worry about me, man. I can always hop on next time too, man.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
well,
yeah. Do your show. Do your show.
Arbitrum. So Arbitrum went down. That is something that's usually only been kind of reserved for Solana. Obviously, Solana's rocking high right now, so they weren't going to have their outage. But it was definitely Arbitrum. It looked like inscriptions and the large amount of inscriptions that Bitcoin people have been talking about, kind of clogging up the chain, actually happened on Arbitrum. It stopped producing blocks for about an hour and a half. We followed that swiftly up with a ledger hack and then a flooring hack. This is Free Lunch Capital, who has the not tokenization, but the fractionalization platform there on Ethereum.
Yeah.
So they got hacked for about 1.8 million worth of BAYC in little pudgies. And then we also had the hack that everybody's essentially talking about that occurred, I believe, using NFT Trader. The story here is that the Boring Security DAO that's assigned to the Bored Ape Yacht Club ecosystem, I think, and maybe some more collections, they were able to get all of these back for like 10% of what the holder would have gotten or the exploiter would have gotten if he had sold all of them at market price. So all of those apes are back with their original owners. Guys, I know that was a lot. All of that happened within 72 hours. From Friday to Sunday night, we had all of that happen. So any thoughts along the midst of what happened, and then we'll move into Valeria?
Well, first of all, how lucky are all those people that got their assets back, right? Like that's not like something that happens usually. So, in that regard, I think it was really nice to see the community get together and everything from that 16-year-old guy that helped patch that bug. And I don't know, man, like, to me, what I've been pondering mostly about is like, what's going to happen to all these NFT protocols now, where so many people were going after them primarily to farm, right? And now, you have that exploit. I do think that there's a bit of an existential conundrum there with that sector of the space that will need to come up with, I don't know, like some way to reassure users that this is a one-time thing. It's not going to happen. I don't know how you go about doing that. Having said that, I mean, yeah, I did not engage in the portal coin farming and a lot of these other ones that require you to consistently be a billboard for them, right, on social media. And I can't help but think that a lot of these people that fell victim to what happened is, I wonder how many of these could be attributed to people just constantly getting, accustomed to farming and just blindly signing things with maximum, approval rates on whatever it is that they're trying to farm. I don't know. But I think it's a hard lesson that was softened by a handful of individuals who everybody should be thankful towards. But moving forward, I'm hoping to see a little more sobriety within our space, right? Which is saying a lot because we're a bunch of degens. But just a little bit would be nice, especially when we're talking about onboarding, future normies. Yeah. The last thing I'd like them to see is come into this space in the midst of some degen cycle like this one, and then have a bunch of new, freshly onboarded people just lose their ass, right? So
real quick, I want Gifted to jump in here, but before that, Mito, what are your thoughts on security in the space and where we're at, man? Seeing all these hacks happen, what are your thoughts, man?
I think that's a huge win. The fact that they were able to resolve that, give everyone their Bored Apes back. I think that's a huge win in and of itself, because it just shows that the Web3 space definitely has its risks. But then I've seen things since I've been here where they were just last week, someone accidentally sent 10K worth of Valeria assets to somebody's wallet by accident. They transferred it to the wrong one. They reached out to that person. They somehow got in touch. That person returned the 10K and bought a whole bunch of other lands too. And that story does not happen anywhere else except Web3. So I understand there's definitely security concerns and issues. New people coming in definitely need to be careful. Your Mint wallet shouldn't be the wallet that you hold your assets in. The basic security steps that we've learned, I think new people definitely need to learn. But there's also a special element to Web3 as well. So I take the good with the bad.
Yeah, it is I guess you can consider it a win from the community side. Like it is a utility to have this strong of a community, because you see it come together in these moments. But it's not sustainable to have to rely on the community whenever things go wrong, or to pay out 10%, 15% of these expensive assets all the time. And really, we're lucky that is there. But the normies are never going to want to come in. Most people are never going to go Web3. And to the question about how to NFT fi protocols and different platforms move forward, is we have to get to a point that we're using warm wallets or ZK, zero knowledge proofs or something to abstract away a lot of this risk. Because otherwise, again, you have basically assets that can't be used, that have no utility, or you're just literally every single time that you want to use them to do everything, you're taking your life in your own hands. And that just doesn't work. So yeah, there has to be a tech solution, because the soft solution of the community just rallying every single time something goes wrong to try and solve it for you is not sustainable.
All right, we're gonna go ahead, Mito.
Yeah, sorry, just to add on, like I remember when the NFT trader hack was happening, there's lots of dev chats in Web3, and basically our devs obviously in those as well. And he was just saying the dev chats are all buzzing, all the developers are like on it, trying to understand what happened, making sure that they're not at risk in whatever they're building. So I know it's not the best to say this, but every time there is a hack, we do get better. The space does move forward. We find the exploit, we grow, we develop. So with each hack, there's improvements that the devs are on it. But I know what you mean. You can't just say, oh, millions of dollars are going to get lost in the learning process. So I understand the balance, but yeah, we are getting better. The Web2 space with each exploit improves.
All right, we're going to move into something more positive. If we do come back to that combo, it'll be on the latter half of the episode. But let's talk everything Valeria Games now. We've been seeing the GameFi narrative take off. We obviously, can't be everywhere at once. So I want to again give a shout out to Katz for bringing Valeria to our attention. Once we started getting involved in the ecosystem, we saw the positives that were happening. The just fanatical community that you have, essentially. So definitely pun intended there with Cat's Fanatic, because there's a bunch in the community that are like him. So let's jump in. I'm going to play the trailer first, and then we'll come back on the other side. All right, and we have the CEO of Valeria Games here, Mito. Break down what we're seeing there, because we saw your partnerships with several different creators kind of come to life there. So just give me that pitch for the project and what you saw there.
Absolutely, man. So this started, it's been almost 2 years of building our IP partners. So we actually started this process over 2 years ago. We have over 25 IP partners, and let's just say since the trailer, there's a lot of big IP partners that have reached out since as well. So we do individual IP deals like the ones you saw there. So that's Seed Phases, CryptoPunk, Preps to the Pros, Bored Ape, Dingling and Grills, Azuki's. And then there's a lot of company IP deals as well, like Neo Tokyo, Digidagaku, Creeps, Imposters. So tons of big names on both sides. So our hope, when we first started developing our mobile game and our trading card game, we said, listen, if we're going to just start creating characters, why not make it a Kaiju King? Why not make it a Project Gajira? Why not make a Neo Tokyo champion? And so that's how it started. And now 2 years later, massive IP deals right across the board. And that's who all of our characters are. And all these communities are going to be rewarded as well. So when our season 1 drops, our public beta, so for our mobile game, all our project partners, all the Azuki holders, all the Bored Ape holders, they're all going to get free booster packs for these games. So it's just part of it's part of our user acquisition strategy. It's amazing to have some of the biggest names in the space support you and have their playable characters in there. But at the same time, kind of helps us be the Web3 of the Smash Bros of Web3.
Love it, man. I don't want to step in front of my co-host here. You guys jump in.
No, I mean, one of the things that impressed me when you initially came on GM Web3 was just hearing you describe, how you thought about this establishing itself in, what I see as being a very sort of competitive, almost saturated realm of, you know, different IP trying to be kind of like a Pokemon-esque, you know, type thing. But, you know, your whole point was like, well, it really comes down to the quality of the storytelling itself. And, you know, you clearly were very influenced by Pokemon yourself. And, you know, to hear the way that you kind of spoke about specific moments within like the TV show, et cetera, and how you see the content itself, like creating some kind of shows or high quality cinematics or whatever that is, like as that being sort of a very important piece of how this all creates meaning and becomes, you know, that's what makes it matter to people, right? Is connecting emotionally to the story, to the characters. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about that and in the context of how these like content partners fit in.
Yeah, absolutely. So the story that he's talking about is, I was just talking about why Pikachu is Pikachu and why Charizard is Charizard, and the moments in the show that kind of captivated us and made us fall in love with these characters. And you can see their development and progression throughout the show. Charmander has that attitude, and then even when it becomes Charizard, he keeps it, and how Pikachu and Ash bonded and stuff. And when you come today, here we are, how many 20-something years later, I don't know how long it's been, so many years later, they, you know, they're still characters that we know, we remember their stories and everything like that. So it's big because mobile gaming is amazing in terms of like revenue generation. It's a great way of it's a great entertainment tool, but to be able to have people fall in love with the characters and build relationships and bonds with characters, it's extremely difficult in a mobile game or a trading card game to do that. So that's where the show has to come in. And yeah, we're in talks with different studios, and what we're trying to do is basically work out an animated series. It's not cheap, it's very expensive, it's a lengthy process, so we want to definitely get the ball rolling in that realm. And then as far as our IP partners go, that's something that they have to be involved in every step of the way. So anytime we're using their IP, if we're going to make them the bad guy, or if we're going to make them a villain, or whatever the case may be, or whatever might be happening in their with their story, that is one extra level of like, okay, we got to make sure we check in with them. Hey, this is what's going on, this is how we're going to use your IP. Yeah, we have the go ahead to use it, but we definitely want to keep all of our partners involved as they get integrated into the story. So we have our own characters as well, of course, but as we integrate more and more IP, like Eric from Neo Tokyo, he's a villain. I don't have to go to them and say, hey, Eric, you know, oh sorry, we changed his name to Codebreaker now. Codebreaker is a villain. If you see him, you'll be like, that's a villain, you know, but some of them could go both ways. So yeah, we definitely have to keep the partners involved.
You guys have had an amazing run here over the last month on across all your collections. I mean, 2, 4, 5x on some of the things. Obviously, it's not all about that. You're building a fucking dope game that hopefully people can kind of hear about. And I'm interested to hear about your kind of marketing for the next year. 2024 is essentially going to be y'all's kickoff year. You've been building for a long time. You have that fanatical community. So what's the plan directly for 2024? And if I can add just one little small piece there for people that are new, what's the best entry? Because now you have Val Token, you got Valeria Champions, you have Valeria Land, which I know you could stake for earning Val Tokens, but not financial advice. What's the best entry or most interesting for new people?
Absolutely. So to answer your first question, our user acquisition strategy. So we have a partnership with Helica Analytics, and Helica's huge. They work with Yuga, Azure Games, all the big names in the space for data analytics. But they built us a custom Unity SDK that will tie into our mobile game. And what's really cool about this is it can actually track and monitor all the player activities and clicks, and we can verify that it's a real player, not a bot. So where it gets interesting is that Play to Airdrop we're familiar with, and then Portal Coin introduced this Engage to Airdrop event, and ours is actually comprehensive. So when we launch our public beta, so our season 1 in Q1 of next year, it's going to be a play and engage to airdrop. So you will get points for liking and retweeting and engaging in social media, very similar to Portal. But if you look at the tier system that we're designing, it's going to be very clear that you're going to get a lot more points if you're actually active in the game. So for example, 1 point for liking and retweeting, 100 for downloading. 500 for clearing chapter 1, 1,000 points for finishing top 10 in the tournament. So basically a lot more points are available in in-game activities, and then our content creators are tied into that as well. So we have 50 video content creators that we're working with. They'll be opening up our booster packs live on stream, showing people how easy it is to get your digital booster packs. No gas. You don't even need a wallet technically. You can use an email and Apple ID, Google Play, any of those logins work. So these content creators will be opening packs up on stream, showing early gameplay, joining tournaments, etc. And if you use their referral code to download, you actually get 500 points, and they'll get 500 points, for example. So we've built a comprehensive point system that will not only engage the people on Twitter, the social media side, but it will definitely push people towards in-game activities, and then our content creators are tied in as well. Finally, we're working on promo videos for our collab partners. So these won't be like the one that you saw there. These will actually be their 3D models. So little promo videos for our, we'll probably do it for about 15 to 20 of our IP partners. And at the end of the video, it's basically it's going to tell them, check your wallet, you got a free airdrop. Season 1 starts next week. And then from there, if they download the game, they can get an additional booster pack and points. So basically tying them into the Helica system as well. So all of this is going to be coming together. And yeah, tons of promo videos. Our new Season 1 launch is going to be massive. And shout out to Helica for creating this custom-built Unity SDK just for us.
It's exciting, man. There's a lot of different pieces, and you're doing a great job breaking it all down for us here. Tell us about this recent sale, right? So y'all just had another big successful drop. I believe it was like the first time that you were launching the actual trading card game. So you did these like founders cases, and then there were like smaller packs, but I know you kept it relatively low supply. So you got to, see incredible demand and see these. I think they sold out in like less than a minute. So like, how does this fit into the overall story? And the product and everything that you're doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's two pieces to it. The first piece is that we want the assets to be interoperable, and that's not going to be available right now on launch. So again, we're looking at a Q1 launch for our mobile game and a Q2 launch for the trading card game. So these are actually two separate games, and the interoperability will come at a later date, most likely Q3 of 2024, but we want to build out a system where you can actually move assets from one game to another. And one thing that we want to do that's hopefully cool is like there's a champion that you can play with in the mobile game, but you can only find that champion in the trading card game pack. So if you pull them in the trading card game, not only can you use them there, you can also transfer them over and use them as a champion in the mobile game. And obviously, we talk a lot about the metaverse and interoperability, but it's very hard to do that with multiple different companies. You got to be using the same platform, the same types of models. It's extremely difficult for different, but within a company, it's a lot more, it's a lot easier to do. So that's one piece of it. So yeah, the founder set, what it was is each founder set is going to come with a code to claim the digital version of the founder set online for free. So this is our first digital mint. What we want to focus on is digital to physical and physical to digital. So you buy a digital pack like the founder set. In about a week or so, you'll be able to burn it, and we'll mail you out the physical founder set. So that's like 240 booster packs. Each pack comes with a code, and then you claim the digital booster pack online. But then we also want to be inside of stores. And then our hope is that when you're walking down the aisle, you don't see a Valeria Games booster pack. You actually see an Azuki booster pack for Grill and Dingling, and you see a Neo Tokyo booster pack, a Creeps one, a CryptoPunk one. That's our vision. And if a Web2 player were to grab one and enter in this code, they wouldn't even need a wallet. You put in an email. Now all of a sudden you got 2 free digital packs, one for the online trading card game, but another one for this other mobile game with a click to download link, right? So it's like we want these different games to not only have asset interoperability, but also work as funnels for one another. So we're launching with these two, and then of course we have more in the pipeline, more in the vision as well. And it was 20 seconds. It was like less than 20 seconds. The mint was crazy.
Biggie, I know you joined us on this Valeria train here.
And I'm loving it, man.
Takes,
I unfortunately, I don't have a lot of insight here like YouTube that are actual gamers. But obviously I joined the train when it was launched and everything. The only thing that I can say that I find really refreshing and that I'm really looking forward to is seeing again how you're weaving all these different communities and onboarding them into this ecosystem, which is really cool. I know, like, sometimes, I mean, I guess like with Shrapnel and Parallel, it wouldn't make sense, but I think you're doing a magnificent job of it with this, and it seems very cohesive. So really cool to watch.
Thank you, boss. Really appreciate that.
It's I mean, y'all have your own fully like built out marketplace that's already working. Is it on Polygon?
It's on both. So if you go on our website, you actually have a bridge section. So because our token is layer 0, it can actually be bridged to any chain. So the token itself is an ERC20, and then you can go on our website and then bridge your vals over to. So if you click on the 3 dots, you have a little bridge page, and then from here you can basically, once you log in, you can switch your vals from ETH vals to Matic vals. So how we've designed the marketplace right now is assets can be traded in ETH or vals in terms of our land, our champion collection, the founder case set. Those are ETH and vals, but then some things will be vals only. So that will be our in-game assets. So when these packs start to open, which will be the last week of December, people will be able to start opening their packs and claiming their actual in-game assets they will use in the mobile game. Those will only be in vals. So that will all be on the Matic side. And the reason for that is, of course, we want a gasless experience for, let's say, a Web2 player, and we cover the gas for them. It's not gasless in the sense like it's very cheap. We actually cover all the gas on all Matic transactions. So for a Web2 player who logs in with their Apple ID and they want to buy or sell something, they don't have to fund their wallet with Matic or anything at all, actually, and they can just buy and start selling and trading. So for that reason, obviously, an ERC20 marketplace wouldn't have been a viable solution for us.
How do you keep building out the product and not have a situation where new people are getting into your ecosystem and then they're just like overwhelmed?
Got it. Yeah, that's a great point. I've seen that happen with a lot of collections, and so for us, it is a very good point, actually. So when you do join our game, it's like you're gonna have booster packs for the mobile game, booster packs for the trading card game. You got your Genesis land, your champion PFPs. You're gonna have your in-game assets, and it is a challenge that you run into. We've kept it relatively simple in the sense like Genesis land, every week they get a booster pack, and every week they generate tokens. Then you have your in-game asset side, and then you have, but you're right, it is, and the PFPs were actually it was a free mint. They were meant to start as just a profile picture to represent your support for Valeria. So it was a free mint at the time, and then we decided to give it some extra staking utility, and but yeah, like we tried to keep it as simple as possible, and I think tutorial videos are going to be very important. I think video content is the way to go for the future, and it's not complex in the sense like it's really hard for some to understand. But if I say read this 4-page document to understand our ecosystem, that's not going to be a good solution. But if I say watch this 2-minute video and everything will be broken down for you, I think that would be a great way to onboard new users.
Yeah, I was gonna ask more about the land aspect, but I think you kind of just covered it there in terms of like the utility, at least, that it provides. Because the whole metaverse aspect is really interesting, just given the sort of the way that's gone during the bear market. Do these lands? So obviously, they have a yield, and both packs and all that, but do they fit into the game in any sort of way? Like, are there future utilities where you imagine some kind of metaverse and these do come to life?
I mean, so that would definitely be cool down the road. So we've thought about ways to make our lands dynamic, where you can actually level up and play on them to maybe increase your chances to get a rare and legendary booster pack. You can do certain things with your land and gamify that process. So we've thought about it, but definitely somewhere down the roadmap. So yeah, lands are pretty straightforward right now. All lands generate the same tokens. When you look at the different rarity, that's just about the chances you'll have to pull better booster packs. But all lands generate the same token. It's between 2 and 3 years. We have a dynamic emission schedule based off of our burn rate and sorry, I shouldn't use the word burn, sync rate. We have tons of token syncs in the ecosystem. So based off of the sync rate, we'll decide which band to be on. So it'll be anywhere between 2 and 3 year emission schedule. And that's kind of like the core piece. And then everything else will be like in-game assets, boosts, add-ons, etc.
I'm glad that you brought up this token piece with the emission rates and all that. Because one of the degen plays of this token is essentially, and I'm speaking directly to degens, I'm not maybe not to normies. You haven't got these on any exchanges yet, and the reason is you haven't you're not paying them. You're essentially like, dude, I'm not paying to be listed on these kind of mid-range exchanges. Certainly, at some point, you'll want to be on Binance and these other larger ones. But yeah, we haven't seen any of these like kind of mid-range exchanges because you're not paying for it.
Yeah. I think anytime you're sitting down at the table, you want to be in some position of leverage. And if you're not in a position of leverage, you understand that you're probably giving up too much. You're probably, it's going to hurt our long-term vision, right? Sustainability is important. When you look at our token things, vals to gem swap. Gems is like the V-Bucks or Robux, right? So you got the vals to gem swap, which is a one-way. That's a sync. Our entire marketplace is vals tokens only. Our entire merge store is going to be vals only. So we have all these token syncs and utilities, and then it's like we're going to give it to an exchange and say, here's $100,000, here's 100K or 1,000,000 tokens or whatever, and then they're going to sell some in the back end and do this and that. There will come a time where they will come and buy the token themselves, and we actually saw that happen. One exchange did come and buy like $50,000 worth of the token and list it on their exchange, and that's our way. That was like proof for us that we're on the right track, because we're not even on CoinMarketCap yet, for example. We're going to be on that soon. I should apply. But the point is, we're in no rush, and we're not just trying to. Everything needs to be organic. Everything we've done up until now has been organic, and we're not trying to take any shortcuts now.
That's great.
Yeah, it seems to be a winning strategy so far, given what we've seen. I know Q asked this, but I'm going to ask it again because I'm not sure if you gave a clear answer to this one. And that's like, given all the different moving parts, you know, and we have a term, by the way, for this like over complex. Did we lose him?
No, I'm still here. Sorry. I'm still here.
He's here. Just the last video there. Yeah, we have a term for this like overcomplication that gets hard for people to get in, you know, and we call it the chasm of complexity, right? So you have all these different moving parts, but what do you think if I was a newbie and I had, you know, $1,000, you know, or like 1 ETH to get into Valeria, what is the best entry right now?
Okay, so
not financial.
So not financial advice, but it depends if you're short or long. Obviously, tokens are a lot more liquid, but lands is the play. I don't know if they're going for 1,000. I think it's around there. I would have to check. But lands is what happens with lands is you don't just get the 30% divided by the landowners over 2 to 3 years. Every token that ends up in the sync wallet also goes back to the landowners. Now, when that happens, we'll have to decide, right? So, okay, the TCG is coming out, lots of demand. Okay, let's take some tokens from the sync wallet out of the sync wallet. Now, to give you in context, over $3 million in tokens have already been sunk, and our game's not even live yet. Exactly. So we've already burned 6 million tokens, over $3 million worth, and all of those tokens are in the sync wallet. That's going to go back to the landowners as well. So I would say land is definitely the play if you're long. But as far as being liquid, of course, tokens are great. Champions is not something you want to jump into right away. Champions is something that if you have a lot of lands, they give a boost. So if you have one champion, it will boost all 20 lands. So obviously, it's great to have one champion when you have multiple lands, because it will give a boost to all of them. But if you have like one land, one champion, it's only boosting one land in terms of like the packs that it's going to get. So champions gatekeep alternate artwork cards. So when you get a booster pack, there's two types. There's the like the special ones and then the regular ones. And if you stake a champion with your land, you'll get a special booster pack. But again, if you're just doing that for one land, might not be worth it. Maybe better to grab a second land or whatever the case is.
All right, I'm dropping into chat here the Valeria X profile for you guys to check out. From there, you can go and see their link tree and all that stuff. Yeah, I wish we had this conversation with Mito a month ago, because I would have had maybe 20 lands. Now it's a lot more expensive. So anyways, we do have to run here on this overview. Biggie, make it quick because Mito's got to run.
Yeah, I mean, just man,
I got 5-10 minutes. We're good.
No, my question is basically on your decision to build on Polygon, right? Like right now, there's new flavors of the month, right? Especially for gaming, whether it's AVAX, the promise of Blast, or Base, right? And a lot of people are kind of like saying that Polygon is dead or fading it, or it's just kind of like boring, which in my opinion, I've said is like something to pay attention to, because I don't think they're going anywhere, especially with their new alliances with, you know, Illuvium and all these guys, and you seem very comfortable building with them. And I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about your experience and what you see coming down in the future.
Yeah, so basically, Polygon also has the partnership with IMX for the new ZK AVM, and that's our ultimate goal. So if you look at, for example, IMX's new ZK AVM passport solutions, their GameFi, a lot of things that when we set off and we said these are the things that we hope to achieve in our vision, you look at their roadmap and their vision, and it's perfectly aligned on easy onboarding, one-stop solution, own marketplace, accepting your own currency, all of that stuff. So we saw that our visions will definitely align, and the flavor of the market is absolutely true. And one chain I think that's really making noise is Ronin. In terms of daily active users, Ronin is right up there. They have, they're doing it, and Solana's push is insane right now. But it's always like I remember when Matic had it. I remember when IMX had it. I remember when AVAX, and then it was Arbitrum. And in 6 months, 8 months, there'll be a new flavor of the month. So
rotators, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's always going to be the case. So we're comfortable with what we did, and we've been building on this chain for a while now. Our dev is very familiar with it. I love the vision. I love what they're building towards. They have lots of stuff in the pipeline, in the works, and the visions could not be more aligned between us and their chain.
Lovely.
I love. Yeah, great, fantastic answer. We've gotten a lot of Polygon FUD, as Biggie was mentioning, so it's good to hear some positives.
Hey, let me just say this: nobody cares what happens in the back end. If it works, the player doesn't care like how it happened or what chain it was on. The whole point is to make it seamless. So as long as that gets done, the rest is just extra.
Yeah. 100%. All right, that was it for our Valeria overview. If you guys want to check it out, I did drop the link there in chat. It will be in the description post video. Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
More land.
Great team. Yeah, more everything.
That's advice, man. But thank you guys. Though. Appreciate it.
All right, Mito. See you again soon, man.
Peace. Take care, guys.
Take it easy. That was awesome.
Good team.
Dude, he just seems really solid, honestly. Like, yeah, that's our second time getting to talk to him. Seems like a really solid dude. Again, I love this sort of like methodical, slow approach. Like, they're not trying to hype or pump shit. Right? You know what I mean? Like, they're just going step by step in their own lane, and they're not worried about all the fucking nonsense and the noise. And that's amazing, because it does remind me. It reminds me very much of Parallel. It really does. Like Mr. Gone and that team, dude, you talk to him and you're just like, yo, they just love this game. They're just doing their own thing, trying to make a cool product. They don't give a shit about all the noise that's happening in the space. And the fact that it reminds me of Parallel is very. All right,
so I see you guys watching over there on X, also YouTube and Twitch. We appreciate you guys showing up. We have about 20 more minutes in today's episode. We're going to try to get to a list of things, including what's happening over there on Solana. We've got some other mints that occurred over the weekend, the ChamptionsVerse. We've got, I mean, what happened to the Portalcoin news? I thought we were getting the biggest Web3 gaming announcement in history. We haven't heard anything. We also have a NiftyIsland trailer that we'll probably play here first. Let's do that, and then let's go into Solana. But again, if you're watching over on X, if you're watching on YouTube and this is your first time here, this is NFT Live. We go daily, 1 p.m. Eastern, right after our morning show over there on X. So you definitely leave a like. And if you're here for the first time again and you like the content, leave a subscribe. We appreciate it so much. Our vibe, our tribe. GIF. Actually, no, this was Biggie. We're going to watch this NiftyIsland trailer, and then on the other side, I'd love to get your takes on what's being built over there.
Okay, I just turned bearish a little bit, just a little bit.
Let's dive into that.
Why?
Is it because Azuki's in there?
No.
Why?
I'll pass an Azuki. I will not pass. I'm a lady.
A milady's in there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just easy to do.
My kids are not playing that.
Everybody's beating Bored Ape to the punch. Like, this is what's really cool about this trailer is that you're seeing cross IP promotion, right? Or cross promo with the IP across the space. We're finally here, right? Just like in gaming, we're finally freaking here. This was the whole thing I was talking about other side for forever. Was it's not about Bored Apes sharing their story. It's about every team being able to share their story through the medium, which is the other side. Except now it's Nifty Island. Except now it's a bunch of these other projects that are basically beating them to the punch, is how I'd probably say it. But yeah, ton of different collections there. Biggie's not liking the Milady.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. It's like, anyway, but one of the interesting things from an IP's perspective, besides what y'all just already shared, is that now you see the value of having 3D assets that are like metaverse, quote unquote, metaverse ready, right? Because you saw like CloneX, A Kid Called Beast, Meebits, like all of these are in there specifically, in my opinion, because they're already metaverse ready, right?
I push back on that because there's a ton that are just 2D, right? Like, or like just regular PFE. Like let the Nifty Island team do the 3D. Go ahead.
But what I'm saying is that there's a bigger lift for those than for the ones that are already metaverse ready, and so you just add in those because they're easy. So I don't know if my point's coming across.
Yeah.
They get more opportunities like this to be integrated into these opportunities than other projects that aren't metaverse ready. That's all I'm trying to say, right? So like if you bought A Kid Called Beast because it was a 3D asset that was quote unquote metaverse ready, this is why. Because it gets integrated alongside Cool Cats and Pudgy Penguins and Bored Apes and the shit like this.
Easy to port over, I suppose. Yeah. And I wonder why, like, I don't know, like, I'd be very interesting to see how they, loop in all these different communities and IP, because if that's the case, GIF, then there's a couple of there that could have been easy inclusions or wins, right? Like Cyber Brokers is not there, and they're pretty, fluffs aren't there. I don't know if it's a matter of like them having different interests or competition, or if it's just, I don't know. Like, but it's definitely an interesting part.
Well, yes, yeah. I don't know if Fluffs is.
We'd have to talk to the team about this, about what the reasoning was behind why they chose these, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, part of it is, was that
looks like a Meebit and a Utes. That's what I'm saying. Pudgies.
I just noticed that as a Utes. Holy shit. Yeah, the Miladies is creepy and weird. It is. That's weird.
There's another part to this here. A play to airdrop. God, we finally made it. Play to airdrop campaign like no other is coming. I'm trying to.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
Maybe there's some arbitrage here, or maybe some alpha here on the.
So I know the beta comes out on January 17th.
Okay, so there is an NFT collection associated with this, but I wonder if it's necessary to have one of these NFTs to take part in this play to airdrop. You don't think so?
You'll probably get more of an airdrop, and then you'll probably get some land or something. It's I linked it in the private chat too. It's like there's two that were mentioned: the palms, the little palms, which I imagine is kind of like land, and then the other one is like these guns, virtual guns, that are also like. I don't know. I'm just interested in seeing how it plays out, and hopefully,
it seems like the current quote unquote sort of like metaverse land, or at least like these lands right now, is that they're all, instead of them being like parcels that you can go build on, it seems like they're all medium. It's just a conduit. Yeah, it's just a yield. Basically, or yeah, and that's interesting to me, is that it seems like that's shifted, whereas like they're basically nodes. Yeah, so that might be a move here too. Like we're just talking about Valeria, clearly lands was the play there. Maybe it's the same thing here, where if there's going to be a token, which they're talking about airdrops already, so we know there's going to be some kind of token, then maybe the land is going to be a good play here.
So November 19th, so that's what, like a month ago, these were going for 0.26, the floor for NFT or Nifty Island lands. or palms is what we're kind of getting at. So that would have been a strong play because they're now sitting at an ETH floor. The guns have not run as much here. So I will say, I don't think any of us do own any of these assets. So that's one thing from this network. We almost chill these things before we actually bought it, which I guess is good long term. I won't end up in jail, but it would be nicer for my bags. Anyways, look, average price here. Where's floor price? It was like 0.12. Okay, so yeah, these really haven't moved, the guns, but it looks like they're moving a little bit.
You think these are also going to be nodes, or
no? Those look like in-game assets. I think Biggie hit
those
it.
are going to
Yeah.
be okay. Well, that's why.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on here to what I never thought I'd say, which is the news about the Solana Phone and just the Solana ecosystem in general. We've been buying more Solana NFTs. I bought the DGen News NFT because I just wanted to take a flyer, and I think that they still have a little bit of reach, obviously. So maybe those will do well long term. They're still at a relatively low floor, but today's about BoDoggos, right? Gordon Goner bought one. This one was breaking news as we started the episode. There was a 559 SOL buy here on a BoDoggo. This was a collection that for a long time was beaten down. Like they had a lot of FUD with related to you guys aren't doing anything for these, like what's actually happening. And then along with the rest of the Solana ecosystem has just had a renaissance. So interested in y'all's takes here on BoDoggos as it stands today. And then we can move into this ridiculousness with the Saga Phone as well.
I flipped my second one for a nice 2x, so I'm out of the BoDoggos for now. But I'm going to be watching the floor to see if it dips back down to get back into it, because I think that this is clearly a pump. Does it just go straight up from here? There'll probably be some pauses or some retraces at some point. But I'm actually pretty bullish on this one for a lot of reasons that we talked about briefly on GM Web3. Biggie was really playing devil's advocate and trying to FUD it and trying to say, I think. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of question marks around it, but also I think that there's just some clear reasons why people like it. One is that it doesn't have a product in terms of like a big platform, but it does have a media company tied to it. That is a product. Like we just saw the value of community with the Bored Apes. Community is a utility, and they have a legit platform and a media company. And one of the interesting things that I started thinking about as we were working through this, and Biggie was kind of trying to pick it apart and see where the holes were, was that even if I'm just in it for like short-term, upside potential, because it is a very accessible Solana NFT and PFP that a lot of ETH people could get into for much cheaper than a Mad Lads or a Tensor or something like this, that again, they're familiar with already because of the Nifty Alpha. The long-term bet on this, I actually feel good about, because they're building hype right now at a very important inflection point for the Solana ecosystem, because they are establishing themselves as one of the leading PFP communities in right now. And so as this next cycle goes up and Solana is going to have its Ethereum moment, by the way, all that heat and crazy novelty that Ethereum went through in like the last first big NFT bull market, Solana is going to be getting a lot of that heat and novelty in this market. And so there's going to be some projects that do very well. BoDoggos is now in that conversation. So I'm just going to say that BoDoggos is establishing themselves at an important time in this cycle as a leader on the Solana PFP ecosystem. But then the other thing that I'll add to it is that I think media consolidation is going to be a theme in this next run. We just saw Rug and Decrypt come together. Nifty Alpha is absolutely going to be a front runner for partnerships or maybe even some kind of merger and acquisition from some other media companies. And then this NFT gets a bit off of that. It gets some additional utility or some additional clout at least. So whether or not there's like clear platform utility, et cetera, there's at least clout and there's awareness and there is community behind it. So that's my thesis. I'm actually getting more and more bullish on it. And I think Gordon Goner clearly is seeing the
Gordon
signs.
With his first Solana NFT purchase here was a BoDoggo. That's part of the story. I will say we were having a discussion maybe 2 months ago when all the Solana kind of momentum started. Like it definitely wasn't heyday like we're seeing now, but it was like starting to kind of be a thing. And one of the combos we were having, and I think it was Biggie commenting on it and me responding, was where are the normies going to go? And at the time, you know, and I still think there will be normies that are on Ethereum, but I think as an ETH maxi, if you're an ETH maxi out there, you got to prepare yourself for another scenario. And it's very, I mean, we saw Solana flip Ethereum, and you have to make sure you don't get in this recency bias of like, hey, this is the hot new thing. No, I think there's actual traction here with what Solana's doing because of the gas situation that is only going to get worse. And it's really like we were talking about revoke.cash today with all these exploits and hacks. It costs like $6 per revoke. If you've got 20 different revokes to make, say you're just an absolute degen on the making sure you're not your wallet's clean side, that's a lot of fucking money to some people. So, and then you this is another argument that was always made, was just in other countries when you're talking about dealing with, you know, dollars worth of transactions, when that could be a lot more when you do a currency transaction. You're talking about a lot more money than $6. You know, when it comes to their currency, like they're saving a ton. And there's just a lot of reasons why.
It's not.
Go ahead, Biggie.
Well, and that's always been the argument for Solana, but we're now seeing it come to fruition, right? Go ahead, Biggie.
Look, I want Solana to do well. I still have and hold assets in Solana. Having said that, my PTSD from the last crash is substantial. And, you know, I understand, like, really the community is like very few others outside of BTC and ETH that are so bullish on it and vocal and are able to rally attention and onboard people into it, right? Having said that, though, like, again, for me, I think I still have a hard time drinking the Kool-Aid. Although, by the way, like you are seeing like very serious collectors come around, right? And I think like D's is going to be holding a space on the 20th or 21st, focusing primarily on like generative art on Solana. But like you are seeing these so-called maxis or OGs from other chains start to really pay attention, which in my opinion, is very bullish, right? Because these guys are as stubborn as it gets sometimes. And for them to finally start like changing their stance and trying to understand and learn says something. Having said that, to me, there's still like this elephant in the room that nobody wants to acknowledge or talk about, and is the rest of the competition that is already EVM compatible. See, to me, like if Solana, once I see Fire Dancer launch and their EVM chain perform, maybe I'll be a little more bullish on it. But at the moment, I still remain a little like hesitant on it, like that something cannot go wrong, because I've seen it stated before. You know, we saw it in the last bull cycle and it kept coming down no matter how many people say that it didn't. It fucking crashed every goddamn month. And eventually it had that moment, right? And I clearly remember that experience of hustling to my computer and trying to bridge USDC and just take L's on tokens that I was bullish on because the fucking place was crashing and I didn't know what to do, right? So yeah, I still have a very hard time bringing any new liquidity or bridging anything to Solana as of yet. I do want to see what Fire Dancer does for EVM. And again, I still want to see what other competitors do to address this, right? Because right now, obviously, it's center stage, but I don't know. To me, it's still very much degen plays, what I see over there. The bonk phone being the latest example of this. It's like there's too many things that can go wrong, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a fucking bonk phone. It's not a fucking phone. They should rebrand that shit. It's the bonk phone now. And like, let's see when they get those fucking phones in their hands and how easy the claim is. It would be hilarious if they're like, now you need to KYC or some, I don't know. Like, there's just too many things in between. People are already seeing it as a given. Like, they're going to get the airdrop tomorrow. They're just going to be able to claim it and flip it and throw the fucking phone in the trash. I'm sorry. I doubt it's going to be that simple. I when it comes with Solana, I'd like to give myself a nice big pad of like hesitation for past performance.
Ozzy saying there's no bonk phone, bro. It's called the Saga, but yeah, it's funny to think of it as the bonk phone now. Look, I think Biggie's making a lot of good points.
There's a lot of energy, bro. There's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Biggie's gonna eventually be right, which is that this whole pipe is going to die down. That's it's the one truth.
Like,
That's
back to the
okay.
BoDoggos thing, right? That you mentioned right now.
Let's get GIF. Let's get GIF real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see a lot of people right now, and I think this is kind of what Biggie's saying too, is that like everybody jumps on the hype. And then on X right now, I've been seeing all kinds of really, really awful short-term hot takes. Like people saying Solana's the only place that has a community. There's no Ethereum community like there is on Solana, for instance. Like, to me, this is such a fucking joke. Like people that are saying things like this, there's all these like hot short-term takes just based upon what you're seeing, the euphoria of the moment of like what's hot or the hype cycle that we're currently in it. And people forget everything else around it and all the context that we're living in. And they just focus on this one thing and they try and ride that hype train to get engagement. And so, yeah, there's a lot of that nonsense right now. And the truth about Solana is that it has been mostly degens and flippers and traders. And there has never been any sort of loyalty to anything over there other than trying to make a quick bag.
Well, they were loyal
is
to
this
that
the
chain.
first time?
They were loyal to that chain for a while.
Sure, they were loyal to the chain, and sure, you can say that, but also like almost everything crashed very hard, like Biggie's saying, and nobody was actually like sticking around for it. Yes, they were still bullish on the tech, and so that's the thing. So I do think that everybody should temper, like Biggie's saying, like temper yourselves and at least be aware that like just as fast as this shit goes up, it can come back down. That said, I am bullish on Solana leading this next cycle or being at the forefront of this next cycle in terms of like novelty, having the infrastructure, having the community, and a lot of liquidity because DeFi, NFTFi, GameFi, all of these different things, it's so much better to be over there and not have to pay all the fucking gas all the time for most people. So I think that that's going to really matter in this cycle, but also am I going to buy into this hype that like, oh, we're all here for the community now, we all love it here? No, because as soon as shit fucking turns, everybody's going to fucking sell over there so fast.
And in my opinion, like there's another thing there that it's like rotation of capital, right? Because let's face it, again, if we're going with this like degen narrative that is on Solana, at some point, I don't want to say that it's going to be played out. But for example, Blast is launching early next year, right? And it's going to supposedly have a whole bunch of apps that are going to be there, right? And you're going to want to play with those to get the airdrop, the juicy airdrop. Well, if I'm on Base, if I'm on AVAX, if I'm on Phantom, if I'm on Ethereum, any of those, I can fucking switch that shit in 2 seconds. I don't have to change wallets, But if I have to do it with Solana, it's wormhole, baby. It's again exposing yourself to a certain amount of risk. It's a little more tedious for the normies to understand. I don't know, man. I agree with this narrative, right? That normies are not gonna be cool with paying exorbitant amounts of gas consistently. But I'm sorry, that's not a moat on Solana. Like, there's a lot of chains that are very inexpensive to transact with, already EVM compatible, with a bunch of apps already there to service you. So
what they're hitting on really well, Biggie, is the timing. If we do run up in early 2024, what they've done is created this hype, made a bunch of people money, and that's going to drive more interest
right there. And how have they made people money? Supposedly, right now there's two ways, right? Q token, future token, really, that's Mad Labs, that's Tensorians, and then floor price of the asset that is going to receive said airdrop. Well, here's one that you can look up in Magic Eden from the last cycle. Did really well. Shadowy Supercoder. Shadowy Supercoder was the first NFT on Solana that promised an airdrop, and you had to hold it for 12 months. I think the airdrop right now is worth about 15K. Now, again, this is backed by an actual product. Like, it's like basically Filecoin or Arweave on Solana. It's got actual tech behind it. It's done phenomenally well. Like I said, the airdrop, if you staked it and you held it for the 12 months, it's around 15K right now. Go look at what the fucking NFT is worth. 2 ETH. Nothing. And there's no future functionality, privileges, or anything. You got a Discord role. That's all you care about. So again, in my opinion, it's like, yes, people are making money on Solana. The people that were early and bought Mad Lads and fucking Sensorians, awesome, dude. They're gonna make money. Again, I want to see this project launch. I want to see the tokenomics and the utility, and I want to see if the NFTs themselves maintain a certain functionality. Because what happens if all of a sudden, like, you get the token airdrop and then the NFT is just kind of like your allegiance? I don't know. There's a lot of questions there to ask, in my opinion, that have not been addressed, and everybody's really euphoric right now because they're seeing paper gains. But again, until
they need
you
to convert that,
bro, and you claim your bunk, like, you're not rich.
Yeah. And yes, I will agree with that. Again, the point I'm trying to make is they've already made, at this point, if everybody sold on Solana,
captured the zeitgeist. I get it. They have,
and that will pay dividends if it can at least hold steady into getting these retail people in here.
Wait to if you play your cards right and everything goes as planned.
Yeah, there you go.
And what did Mike Tyson say about plans?
Until you get punched in the face.
Get punched in the fucking mouth. And I've been punched in the mouth on Solana before, bro. I got roadhoused there. So,
yeah, and there's people there's people on that chain that have a vested interest in seeing doing it, like having it do well. And that's why you see a lot of interest all at once. You've seen it once before. So yes, more collections need to pop up. I will add here at the end, like, looking back at this Solana run, again, that 2020 vision that you have, this is why I'm over on base. And there's a lot more conviction that you need to have if you're over there on these other chains that doesn't have the Solana hype right now. That's the thing for me that I look at in all of this. It's like, there's not a lot of interest. But again, that's where you're looking at these people and saying, "Oh shit, you had BoDoggos, you got a 15x on BoDoggos." Well, these people were holding BoDoggos at 1 ETH or 1 Sol for months, a year. And so you just see what's happening now, and you don't see what happened before. And that's why I'm putting a lot of eggs in the base basket too. But go ahead.
Yeah, we can talk about base, but the fact that they have a really awesome user-friendly native wallet, I think, is huge. Because, like, yes, Avalanche is accessible through MetaMask. You can access a bunch of other networks through MetaMask, but it's not really as easy or native as it should be. And Phantom Wallet is one of the best wallet experiences out there. Again, for normies who come in, like, that's actually a really big deal. So anyway, what's the point? The point is, they have a lot of things that they've already done well. They have a lot of infrastructure. They're positioned very well, and the timing is incredible. So they're going to have a run. But I think everything you're saying, Biggie, is true. Like, we still have to be very, very careful.
I wanted to do fantastic. I have, like, great domain names in .sol. So if it does well, Biggie's going to be very fucking happy. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to, like, the sirens calling me to play DGen plays, I'm looking at base. I'm looking at blast. I'm looking at a lot of other things first, and I completely recognize that it's just me because of past experiences and PTSD. Yeah. But I do think they're valid, and some people are just blindly drinking the Kool-Aid. And when it comes, again, bringing back to the BoDoggos, and I'm sorry, I'm really not trying to fudge you BoDoggos. Like, they're kind of cute and everything. I just want to know, like, yeah, like,
you don't want to get caught up.
No, not only that, but it's like, it's just the community. Like, for example, going back to what GIF was saying, like, okay, for example, I understand Rug Radio, why it did really well, because I know people that actually, like, joined early, got the tokens, and have been yielding Rock token for the past, I don't know, year and a half. I don't know how that's going to play into this new ecosystem that's merging, but what I do know is that it incentivized nodes all over the world. And so Rug Radio has, like, Rug Radio Asia, and it has Rug Radio Latin America. So I understand that there's been an incentivized ecosystem there to empower the community to go do their own things. And it's like, we've got your back. And now that they're merging with Decrypt, I don't think that's going to change. They're going to do something about it, right? When it comes to the Nifty, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, come on. Is it going to be like a product? Are we going to get a phone? Is it going to be a token?
Media is a product. That's the thing.
It isn't. Yeah. It's just like, you're a listener, and so you're part of the community, and you get to fucking get Discord access. Like, the fuck?
Well, media is a product, right? If they can bring in dollars from being a media network.
Biggie's literally fudding our entire network right
Only
here.
other, after Mad Lads and Tensorians, it's the only other.
Well, those are infrastructure plays on Dex tooling.
Okay, but it's the only other NFT token, in my opinion, that I see that I'm like, okay, like if I'm new and I don't have anything to go on, well, these guys have been doing a show for a year and they're bullish on, and I guess maybe I like August and they're cute and that's good enough for me. YOLO. Okay.
Yeah.
That no.
I got you. All right, we got to speed through the rest of these stories real quick. I'm gonna do my best. I will say over there on base, like here when I see FoQ saying base is trash, hell yeah, that's the vibes. Motherfuckers were calling Solana trash 5 months ago. This is the vibe I'm talking about. This is where you want to be. But what's going on base? Like, yes, please keep saying that because that's exactly how it goes. It's people do not have the conviction to stay in a project when things aren't super hype. That is what it is. Valeria, we had the Valerians here, and we'll do a giveaway here in just a moment, by the way, to end the episode. But Valeria has been building for a year and a half. They just in the last month have seen their project pop off. That's how long it takes on some of this stuff. So anyways, on the base side, let's jump in tomorrow because we do have a lot of stories here. It's been hit or miss, at least in the short term, because I think we did see a general pullback outside of Solana on everything. But I'm definitely looking at Mochi and Toshi. This is not financial advice. Mochi and Toshi are the meme coins. That is the trend. There are some other infrastructure plays. Aerodrome,
named after Brian Armstrong's pet cat.
Aerodrome is getting a big, large bid over there. But yeah, let's jump in tomorrow because I think I'm just saying nonsense up here without following up on it. All right. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to cover this Oni Force event. Maybe we'll get to more details tomorrow. But man, Juju Smith-Schuster, Tom Bill, you looks like Command Line was part of this. Shrapnel was a major sponsor. Their Fortnite event went off without a hitch. Seemed to be doing extremely well on socials. Just congratulations. I know how much ArtSnitch and a lot of people behind the scenes, Champini, were working on this, and it seems to have gone off really well. You can see a lot of different profiles tweeting about it, talking about it, and just, yeah, good job.
Yeah, speaking of BoDoggos, looked like Easy was part of it too up there. That was pretty cool to see. But yeah, man, this was a big deal. Huge community gaming event that they've been working on, and it's centered on their custom Fortnite map, the OniForce custom Fortnite map, which if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. But yeah, it was awesome to see a bunch of big people participating, people having a good time. Yeah, I mean, that is what it is. Shout out Oni fam. And shout out Ronin the Collector joining us on X over there. What's good, Ronin?
Go.
Great to see you.
All right, next piece. This is very interesting. This came across my timeline here via, I believe, Robert Hugendorn, who's an OG on the NFT space, especially the gaming side. MapleStory kicking off a announcement here with $100 million investment. This gives me Zynga and Sugartown vibes. You got $100 million to do something, you're probably going to be okay. I played MapleStory back in the day, so I had to add them on here as well for that. Not much details other than that, though, guys. Do you have any takes here? Again, not much on the detail front.
I didn't even know it was an actual game already, MapleStory. So,
MapleStory was huge back in the day.
Okay.
I think it's great to see like existing popular gaming companies starting to see the value of coming in.
The value,
right? Because like
to extract, that's the question.
Well, I think that's maybe how we would have thought about it in the past, but it's clear now that like Zynga's dedicated to doing something special. Ubisoft with ChamptionsVerse isn't just trying to do some kind of short-term pump and dump. Like they're trying to build something out. And I think now you are starting to see that people are realizing this isn't just, you know, a side piece, which is what we've talked about it a lot, right? Where people kind of just treat it as some little experiment to extract some additional revenue off of a dead IP or something. It's like, no, this is a place to actually build the future of your IP and your community. That's what I think is cool, is to start to see some, what I think are potentially real entries coming from like established gaming people and not just, startups that have no experience trying to create Web3 native stuff.
And
I don't know.
What are you going to do with 100 mil too, right? Like that type of funding, a lot of these smaller projects don't have it. Okay, I'm going to continue my trend of talking about projects that I have no exposure to. Lucky Neko here. This was on November 20th. When Lucky Neko knocks on your door, explore the secrets within and chart your own course. This is a Animoca Brands, so my safe words, project here. Lucky Neko. And Sweep just started tweeting about this, saying Animoca has recently announced that collection. There hasn't been much info on it. Stay tuned for future posts from Mochaverse on the Lucky Neko collections. These are sitting at like 0.2. So I just wanted to get that to you. If I see a bunch of buys come through, I'm going to just, do what I do and just...
Too many shiny objects, Q. What to do?
Dude, whatever happened to Lucky Menekis?
That's what that's where it went. That's where my mind went when I saw Lucky Neko.
Dude, Lucky Menekis went nowhere, and that hurt because I bought it. I got sold on that one by an old friend. But yeah, you're bringing this up because I did want to pull this up here. This is the note that you're sharing, but also this is what I'm looking at right here, which is a countdown till public mint, about an hour and 20 minutes out. I don't know how many are actually going to be available or if I'm going to be able to get in on this because it's going to get botted to hell. Apparently it already was, which is why they're sharing that they were like pushing things back. But I'm going to try. It's a free mint plus gas. If I can get in on it, I'm going to try. But I think the floor is already up. Yeah, I think like that. Yeah, I think this is it. So it's moving.
0.24.
I mean, not bad. I think though, like, I don't know. My approach to these, where I think that they could do something interesting, and they move away from us so quickly, is to just be as patient as possible, because eventually some new shiny object's going to come along and drain the liquidity from this one. But yes, I'm going to be tracking this one closely. I'd like to get my hands on one, but not anytime soon.
Yeah, this is as high volume as far as activity is concerned. Like today, Warlords of Champions Tactics here is going to be a highly traded collection. 0.24. Are you buying here, GIF?
Dude, I mean, it's probably if it's already running up to that point, it's probably going to run a little bit further.
Sugartown's sitting at 0.5.
That's right. And I think a lot of people will probably look at that as an example of where it can go. But I think even just the fact that it went from free up to the 0.25 that quickly means it probably has a little bit more room to run, but it also might come down, right? That sounds obvious. It could go either way. Let's go either way.
Let's check the unique ownership here. That's probably something that we can.
I'm gonna try and get one on this public mint, but I'm not gonna hold my breath.
But one thing I think it's very clear that we have been noticing across the NFT space right now is that people are a lot more hesitant to mint. Like, I think most of the attention and the especially disposition for gains is completely rotated into either farming or degening into shitcoins right now. That's one thing that I've been noticing, and it's unfortunate because some of these projects have, like you said, Q, been working their asses off to launch, and whether you want to blame it on timing or all the other things that are coming up, like they're not sometimes getting the reception or love that they might deserve. I don't know. I've just seen it in a couple of projects that I've participated in, and it's unfortunate because sometimes it's not about the quick flip, but right now that where I do feel that that's the intention in the majority of the space, I do see the NFT ecosystem kind of suffering a bit in comparison to other stuff.
Other stuff like what?
Coins, man, tokens, and new protocols and farming. Like, if you got some liquidity right now, you want to lock it up into one asset, with so much conviction that you're going to hold it for at least a couple of weeks. I don't know, unless you're flipping out of it immediately. But even then, I think you could go somewhere else and use it. It would be better served, I think.
All right, so we're on the Restream platform to do these live shows, and it looks like they introduced a new feature where we could see you guys as you join in X. So yeah, huge shout out to Jessica Ostrowski, Ronin, and a bunch of people. Zekeni, let us know if you can actually see those comments because it's saying it's not posting them. I think we just said what's good, Zekeni. Let us know if you can see that. Because I would love to know if we could chat directly to you through our chat. DP saying token, land, characters, pets, or something else. It's too much shit to collect. Yeah. That is a constant as well. You're always going to be in that scenario. Make sure you kind of allocate some time. And you got to, I think with that, you have to understand which ones are your conviction plays that or things you want to get interested in, and then things you just like, you heard Biggie Poppins talking about or Gifted talking about, and you'll just, put a little bit of dollars into that. So it's again, I go back to this product, or are you doing it from an investment perspective? Am I playing parallel? Parallel is the only one I'm doing both on, by the way, but I'm playing parallel and I'm trying to get exposure through the cards and a couple different things, but mainly it's just, hey, Biggie talked about this project. Okay, I'll put 1,000 or 2 or 100, whatever your range is. You can't keep up with everything.
No, you got to choose the things that you have conviction on for sure. And Zach Kenny saying that they can see our comments over there on X, which is fantastic. Thank you for letting us know, and thanks for being here. Glad to have you. Yeah, how many more things are we going to hit today? I mean, we've been going like an hour and a half.
Yeah, usually these Monday episodes are a little bit longer. That's pretty much it. I think the Sugartown versus Champions Tactic is an interesting one. Like if you had to just pick up a Sugartown now or Champions Tactics and hold it for 6 months, which one are you guys buying?
Ordinals.
You're always dodging the question.
He's always going to go somewhere else. Dude, well, right now I'd probably buy a ChamptionsVerse just because it's got the novelty and it's gonna have some more short-term hype.
6 months hold.
Probably would be looking at probably auras.
Yeah,
more so. But
yeah, I think I would go with an aura as well, only because I don't know the pixelated like meta and what game are they going to add that to? I'm not a big fan of pixelated stuff, but that has burned me in the past. So
Ronin's saying champions probably. All right.
Yeah.
I vibe with the champions, to be honest. Like it's one of those that's been hard to erase from my Discord follow lists. And in spite of what's going on right now, and yes, they are going to be botted, I'm not even going to try. But I expect there to be blood down the line, and I will be there waiting.
Awesome, man. Cats Fanatic saying Valeria land for a 6-month hold. That's a great way to end the episode because we did have Mito here from the CEO from Valeria talking about the game, talking about the upcoming releases in 2024. So here's what I want. We're doing a $50 giveaway. What do we want to put? I was just going to put Val token unless you guys had something more interesting. They have to put it in chat essentially so that we could pick it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna like ask a question about.
That's what I mean. We could do whatever we want.
I mean, they should all go share the X. You should share the X here in the chat and tell them to go like, repost, and comment there.
So we need an answer, and then you need to put that on the post. Okay. All right, guys, give us just a second. We're at the back half of the episode.
Born must be named after GIF, also.
All right, here we go. This is what we're going to do. So we're watching ourselves be super meta here on X. So we're watching ourselves talk about this. And once this goes, it's going to be like it's going to be an infinite loop here once I bring this up. But anyways, there it is, the infinite loop. All right, guys, on this comment, which I'm going to link here in the chat, that's where you're going to comment the answer. We haven't thought of a question yet, guys. What is it? You want to do the Sugartown Champions Tactics? You just want to go there?
Sure. Yeah. Well, okay. Maybe we go three games. You got Sugartown, Champions Tactics, or Valeria.
Wow.
You have to choose one for a 6 month hold. Valeria, Sugartown, Champions Tactics. Ubisoft, Zynga, Valeria. Studios.
Okay. And we will. It doesn't matter which one. There's no right answer here. It's your conviction.
No.
And we're gonna choose one person and then at you on X. You also have to retweet and like on that same post here. This one.
That's for $50 in Val tokens, which could go to the moon. That could be worth thousands of dollars in the future. You don't know.
I got
Nobody
shit on for
knows.
doing like a $30 giveaway one time. It was like an ape coin. It's like, dude, apes at $1. Like 30. Hold it 6 months. Maybe you get like 5x as much. Hopefully.
No gratitude. No respect at all up here. No respect.
All right. I just reposted that link. You guys need to go over there. If you're on X, it's basically the post you're watching us on, and you have to make that answer. I already see some replies coming through on the comment section.
Are you going to choose a winner live, or are you just going to do it afterwards so you can do a whole random picker?
Yeah, we're not choosing it live. Quantum Variant is saying a mutant ape. So you guys just don't want to stick to the guidelines of these questions. All right. Zach Kenny saying Sugartown because I got to support my Canadian devs. Friend of Valeria saying Val. I'm shocked. All right, 0x Homes. I mean, there's all of you have been awesome. Ronin the Collector is in the house. Got to have him on this week. Hopefully, we can potentially get my man.
Zach
on.
Kenny, it's the show post that you're already watching on. So comment on that show post. If you're already on X, you just comment on the show. Or go to the NFT Live profile and find the post with the show. That's the one.
See, DP's talking about using 10 different wallets. So my man's on a totally different level than me. Shout out to DP for showing up. Justin Casey getting that Toshi and Mochi. I see you, bro. Let's see. Mataniad, Clay Naldo, Pipe B, Jack's Hideaway, QV, Hawsey, you guys have been awesome throughout the entire show. Chris Mullins, we see you there. Madfish, Jared Pose. Jared, we're wrapping up the episode here, man. I wish you could have joined a little bit earlier, but yeah, we can see you tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll be on here tomorrow. All right. Well, let's go around the try box here. Thank you guys so much again, OVOT, for those of y'all that showed up either on YouTube, X, Twitch. You guys are amazing. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, OVOT fam, love you all. Don't forget, if you are still part of the Flow ecosystem, there's a Flowverse t-shirt claim going on, and their socks did really well.
Stop the presses.
4 years ago, so go claim your Flowverse t-shirt. I'll see you here tomorrow.
Wow.
Biggie.
We got to shut down the show.
Thank goodness we didn't shut down the show without getting that in here. That was maybe the biggest piece of alpha, the biggest news story that we broke all day. So that was almost a big miss if we hadn't hit that here at the end. So thank goodness. Big love to Biggie Poppins, Nifty Q, to all y'all, our Vibe, our tribe. That's it.